Karev, being an original Grey's Anatomy character, makes his potential return more sought after than others, but Justin Chambers' comments against such a return 4 years after Karev's departure paint a better picture for Joe's future. Chambers left Grey's Anatomy as the show was in its 16th season, and while his character didn't have a tragic ending, Alex Karev's exit nonetheless was one of Grey's Anatomy's most controversial. Between his last appearance happening via voiceover and the fact he left those he considered his family at Grey Sloan by saying goodbye via letter, Karev's exit didn't reflect the character's steps forward. Throughout the 16 Grey's Anatomy seasons Karev was a part of, he went through one of the most radical character developments, going from someone selfish, sometimes unfair, and detached from his peers to being Meredith's person once Christina moved to Switzerland and someone who generally cared about others. Karev leaving Joe without even telling her in person thus felt entirely out of character based on who he had become, even if the move reunited him with Izzy and his secret children. In light of the exit, Chambers' opposition to return to Grey's Anatomy means good news for Joe and Meredith. Justin Chambers rules out returning as Karev in Grey's Anatomy anytime soon. Chambers has played various different roles since leaving Grey's Anatomy behind. Justin Chambers as Alex Karev in Grey's Anatomy. Plenty of key Grey's Anatomy characters returned in recent years, well after their exit from the show. From Addison's storyline about reproductive healthcare in Grey's Anatomy seasons 18 and 19 to Arizona's brief cameo in season 20 and Jackson's recurrent appearances in seasons 19 and 21, it has become more frequent for important characters to reappear in the medical drama. However, that doesn't seem to be the case for Alex Karev, as Justin Chambers ruled out an imminent Grey's Anatomy return, calling the chapter closed for now, despite reiterating how grateful he was for the opportunity in the medical drama. Chambers' refusal to return soon to Grey's Anatomy reportedly has to do with the same reason he left the medical drama. Indeed, Chambers left the show because he wanted to explore playing different roles and characters, and leaving Grey's Anatomy gave him that chance. While Chambers doesn't shut down a possible return in the future, his focus continues to be very far away from playing Alex Karev again, and the completely opposite role he plays in Accused demonstrates the success he achieved in diversifying his career. Returning this soon as Karev on Grey's Anatomy would go against his reported objective. Karev returning would be bad for Joe's Grey's Anatomy season 21 story. Joe has finally moved on from his betrayal and is happy. Karev not returning in Grey's Anatomy season 21 is good news for Joe and potentially even Meredith. Alex's departure from Seattle was puzzling, hurtful and unexpected, and it was viewed like that by Joe and Meredith. With Alex one of the few still at Grey Sloan besides Meredith's mentors and friends, Miranda Bailey and Richard Webber, his sudden departure could appear as a betrayal, especially to someone like Meredith who had lost her fair share of loved ones unexpectedly. Returning in Grey's Anatomy season 21 would add even more to Meredith's plate, which is full between Catherine and her research. However, the character most negatively affected by Alex's return would be Joe Wilson. Indeed, it had been difficult for Joe to trust someone, and her and Alex's wedding had only happened in Grey's Anatomy season 14's finale. The way Alex left her enraged and shattered her, and it took a long time for Joe to overcome Alex's betrayal. Returning to Grey Sloan Memorial in Grey's Anatomy season 21 would have the worst possible timing for Joe, who is finally happy and expecting with Link, as it could rehash one of the saddest heartbreaks from which Joe had to move on. Does Grey's Anatomy still need Karev to return? The return of other original Grey's Anatomy characters would work better. Link, Chris Carmack, and Joe Wilson, Camilla Luddington, chatting in the hall in Grey's Anatomy season 20. Considering how far Grey's Anatomy has come, any original character returning would bring joy to audiences. However, Alex's return is the one that would make the least sense in Grey's Anatomy season 21. Between the terrible way he left Joe, Meredith and the hospital and the reasons he had to do so, living with Izzy after finding love again and their children, Alex's return could risk making his exit even worse, as it would be even more difficult to justify.